And so do a lot of other residents, homeowners, renters, and we're all paying the taxes. Whether you're paying rent or you're paying the tax bill itself, that money goes to pay taxes. So think long and hard before you call this up for a vote, because we need more information. And the deputy mayor on Facebook today said, well, you're never going to approve it no matter what. Give me the information. Strong opinions, loosely held. You give me the evidence, I'll change my mind. I'll change it any time, and I always do. But if I don't have the evidence, I can't believe you. So give me the evidence.
Thank you, Sylvia.
My name's Bill Schroeder. I'm going to steal just a little bit of what I'm say to the council later on.
Bill, I'm sorry, could you get closer to the mic so we can hear you? Thank you.
I've spent I'm an architect with an MBA. I've spent more than 40 years advising people on real estate development projects. I'm a numbers guy. The few numbers that I've seen don't make sense. There are too few of them, and the ones I've seen don't make sense. You don't have enough numbers to oblige this city to this project at this time. Enough said.
Thank you, Bill.
And by the way, historic projects are notoriously more expensive to build and more expensive to maintain. And they often develop horrific problems 5, 10 years down the line because there are surprises in 110-year-old buildings.
Thank you.
I'm John Waite, and I live at 1920 Fifth Avenue, and I think I have a longer history with Proctors than most people. Spent many hours as a kid waiting to get in when the lines wrapped around the block. And after Proctors closed in 1977, I was appointed to a city council commission to look at Proctors. And that was really good because it's bipartisan. You have a Republican and a Democrat member of the city council. And 3 citizens, and I was one. And the problems that we identified then and laid out a path are still true today. And what I think something really would have happened then, except that's when the Republicans and Democrats decided not to cooperate, and the city manager, who was attended all of our meetings, was terminated. So I was pleased to hear that there's interest in saving Proctors at this point, and that there's going to be a preservation project. It went on, one of the results of our commission is that in 1979, the building went on the National Register. And at that time, it said that it was one of the most important theater buildings in the state because of the association with the architect, Arlen Johnson, who's a major theater designer, and also Proctor himself, who is a combination of vaudeville and motion picture tycoon. So Proctor's today is one of the few, maybe the only combination of vaudeville theater and movie theaters left in the state. And what it said on the National Register form, the major part of the significance of the building was the outside facade, the terracotta facade, which has been restored, but the interior space, the theater space itself, which is really unique and it's spectacular space. Then I went to the public meeting and heard what was said about it. And they said it was going to be a preservation project, but they're going to stick a black box inside. Turns out that isn't true. They're sticking a lot of small spaces, boxes inside, which are completely destroy the sense of the theater. And if the SHPO gave an adverse effect that was just read to us, this proposal, I think, will fare no better. And also, since that time, Proctor has received the State Historic Preservation Grant, and it also is the subject of the federal and state historic preservation tax credit project, so that there's already been reviews of it. The idea that this is a preservation project is the 1960s idea, which we see in downtown Troy, which has been a total disaster, where it was said in the 60s that we had to destroy downtown Troy in order to save it. And the land is still vacant, and this is more of the same. So I think the problem is that this council could be blamed for the destruction of Proctor's Theater, which will happen. It is not a preservation project, and the proposed design use, if you look at it, it is not a functioning city hall. It's very discoordinated, not developed well, and there's an awful lot of wasted space, including circulation space. It's way more circulation space than you can afford for a building. You're going to get that, only a small amount of usable space. And that circulation space, the main quarters, according to this scheme that's been distributed, is 7 feet 6 inches high. Ceiling height, that's like this. It's not a realistic or serious concept, and I agree with the previous speaker that the construction numbers make no sense. You know, if you look at what construction costs in rehabilitating buildings, you're not going to do it for that. What I don't understand is why the city isn't following the route that the county took with the restoration and rehabilitation of the courthouse, where they got money from the SHPO and they got local bond money to fund it. And it was a very smooth process, as I understand. New York State has historic preservation grants through OPRHP and the Economic Development Branch, which allow half the cost of the acquisition of the property is eligible for a state grant, and half the cost of construction is eligible for state historic preservation grants. And many communities across New York State has taken advantage of those grants. Why aren't we doing that? We heard a lot of things that weren't true at those public meetings. You can't have these sloping floors that Proctor has, and it was quoted that it doesn't meet ADA regulations. That's simply not true. If it were true, 90% of the theaters in New York City would be closed. The office lot, when RPI owned the building, 2005, they commissioned a professional code analysis of the building and found that the building in its present form as a theater was remarkably compliant with the New York State Building Code. But what was a problem was the office block, because there's a limit on the occupancy that you could have in the office block. So that you have a very small number of people that could be accommodated in the office block, which is currently occupied by tenants, which would have to leave. But the circulation doesn't make any sense. You come into the historic lobby, you have to walk to the far end of the building to get to an elevator. If you come from the parking garage, the same thing. This really needs a lot more study, and we've got to have, I think, a good idea what it's really going to cost. And what's been quoted now is, in my opinion, not realistic at all. Thank you.
Thank you, Jay. Does anyone else wish to address the council on any agenda item?
Council President,
Councilmember Burns.
I have an email that I need to read. If everybody is done with the public forum.
I think we still have some folks coming forward.
I am Erica. I'm a homeowner in Troy, a small business, and we have 5 kids in the school district. I just wanted to speak to a couple things. One, I have 2 college students now, and when we were looking into saving money, we thought maybe we should look off campus and get an apartment for her. And then we realized that we can't do that because there's a stipulation that she has to live on campus and for 2 years. So I ended that search. So coming to understand when we have a lease that's currently still not sure of when it's really ending, I would imagine why would you start looking for something when you don't know when something is ending? And then secondly, I love ideas, and I think it's a great idea in theory to have a city hall that belongs to the city and to move it to a beautiful building. But like other people have said, just the cost of that, we don't really know the full scope of it. It seems we have a lot of questions that people have already asked, and it doesn't seem like the public really understands what the real numbers are, the spreadsheet, just the cost of maintenance, everything that people have already discussed. So I just wanted to put that out there.
Thank you, Erica. Does anyone else wish to address the council? Any member of the public wish to say anything on an agenda item, something that we're going to be talking about in Finance Committee now?
All right, first time I'm here. Just pick up with Lee said, I do agree on her concern.
Microphone.
Sir, can you could just go closer to the mic?
Say your
Close
name.
enough?
Yeah.
Yes, thank you.
Can I say my name?
No.
All right, my name is Jason Keene. I am a senior at RPI. And I agree with Lee about her concerns about the renting situation in the city of Troy. As someone from myself now to finance my situation myself, I have unfortunately come to the conclusion that a lot of these buildings costing up of $500 per month, $700 per month. It's not at a standard that I would consider, modern quality in the year 2025, as a lot of them are severely drafting. Some of them have bug infestation, stuff like that. Windows are obscure, floors, not flat. Frankly, the place that my parents live at is about the same price per month, and even that then, that being ludicrously more expensive, is still, I see a lot better quality than what I find up here. And I am very concerned about, since this is apparently the state that we can expect about the city of Troy, that this is the quality, if you can't let people live in good quality homes, what about the rest of the city of Troy? The business, how healthy those are, how people, can actually live and actually make a living trying to live here. Also, I would like to make a request for, let's see, adding let's say an express bus route from the waterfront station to Alton Rensselaer, because I think you guys are severely missing an opportunity of having a more direct connection between the city of Troy and the Alton Rensselaer train station, which I would think would benefit the city by allowing the people here to have spend less time and effort getting to a mass transit option, which would allow them to have better access to like jobs, like along the the jobs like along the Albany Rensselaer station. I'm pretty sure. Well, I'm not sure if that's really in your guys' wheelhouse, but I assume you guys would have some connection to the New York State Senate or both, and have get talks about that, and something like that going. Also, driving down, I think the highway down Potomac, there is a lot of traffic heading down like upriver, and I think another like specific public transportation office, like wherever city people go to, would help ease congestion, frustration up along I think 87, whatever one heads sort of north. I assume you guys are actually taking that into consideration, or just giving lip service.
Thank you for your comments. Does anyone else wish to speak on any agenda item before the Finance Committee?
Sorry, I wasn't in. How's everybody tonight?
Better than the microphone, I guess.
My name is Mark. I'm a resident of Troy, in the Little Italy area. I'm a little concerned about the City Hall proposal. I took a time to go over the documents that were provided for this. The memorandum in support was a paragraph with no information about what this is going to cost us, what kind of renovations we're entertaining, what renovations we're not entertaining. I just feel that there's a lot, even though there have been some public forums, this vote is premature because there's still a public forum that's scheduled August 13th, and I think we are doing this a little too soon. I would highly consider, I would hope that you guys postpone this vote until after the last public forum before we move forward with this. There has been a lot of concerns about the funding for this, pretty much dissolving the LDC in order to do this, and that program is meant to help local businesses and local buildings be energized to be back to being tax-paying dollars. And so we are taking money out of the city by not having that organization funding rebuilds of the city. So we're losing tax dollars on that end as well. I would really like you guys to take a look at the idea and the concept of a meeting like this surrounded by a failed, dilapidated theater, and what kind of message that says about what we think the city of Troy is. That we think that the city of Troy is a dilapidated theater, that we are just skating on the bones of the past, that we do not care about our future. The proposal does not include a restoration of the theater, and restoration of the theater last I saw was like a $40 million proposal.
Please shut the door.
Can't shut the door. A $40 million proposal. That would be saddled to future taxpayers if we ever chose to renovate that. I am absolutely for a new city hall, a permanent city hall that we can call our own. I just don't think this is the right project for it. I really think you guys should really reconsider the burden that you guys are going to put onto the city by going through with this motion, because you are not thinking about mid-term costs, long-term costs, and short-term costs. You're just not thinking about it. And I think you need to rethink this, postpone this vote until after the last public comments, so that it's not a tour, but it's a public comment. Don't shirk on the political process, please. Thank you.
Thank you, Mike. You can take the mic right out.
My interest is some of these older buildings there, like the mall went down the street. Nobody is using it. Could we try knocking it down and rebuilding it for apartments, maybe for the future? It's just being wasted. Taxes on it. City. I would be very happy to see if I could be part of that through the Disabilities Act. For the young adults to be out on the street. That's what I would like to see happen for the future. Thank you.
Thank you very much. I didn't catch the name. Could you add that for the record?
Ricard.
Thank you very much, Darlene.
Good evening. My name is Gary Bradley, and I was born in this city a few years ago. And I was listening to what was going on about the Proctors. Now, many years ago, I do remember, there was a gentleman by the name of Duncan Barrett. You all probably don't remember him. He passed away. And he and the group from Schenectady wanted to purchase the Proctor's Theater and renovate it like its sister theater in Schenectady, which was renovated, and since it's been renovated, it's been making money. It's profitable. Now, I don't know why you want to go back to the Proctor's Theater. Now, I've seen things pass by that Troy let go. The EOC building on the corner of 6th and Congress was vacant for many years. I often wondered why the city of Troy didn't renovate that and convert it into a city hall. There was ample parking. City Hall was in the Verizon building. You left there and came here. Don't know why you left that. But for what's going on now, it's going to cost too much money to put a city hall there. You should think of other things to do besides putting the city hall. If you want to do something with the Proctors, refurbish it like its sister's theater in Schenectady. That would be profitable. Right now, you don't have all the figures, and you're skating on thin ice. I personally don't approve of it.
Thank you very much. Does anyone else wish to address the council on any agenda item before the Finance Committee this evening?
John Kane, I just wanted to add, I don't disagree with anything that has been said previously, but I wanted to add that I know that the Democratic minority has asked for documentation now, I'm assuming months ago. I don't know if you guys have it. I'm not sure who introduced this resolution tonight. It seems like the administration is asking you guys to take responsibility for all the decisions that they've made. This process has really been problematic since the get-go. This is extremely disorganized, but by voting for it tonight, you guys are taking responsibility for it. You're taking this in as your own. So if you guys feel you've been given the appropriate amount of information, please say what it is and why you're voting for this, because moving forward, this is also going to be your project and your decision. Thank you.
Thank you, John. Does anyone else wish to address the City Council tonight on any agenda item before the Finance Committee? Going once? Going twice? 3 times? Does anyone else wish to speak? Seeing none, Irene, Council President Sorrento, Council Member Sorrento, she's been elevated.
Thank you. No thanks. I'm trying to retire here. All right. So we received an email that I would like to share with everybody, because this is for the record, from Vic Christopher. And the subject line is City Hall legislation. City Council members, I wholeheartedly support the plan to move City Hall to Proctor's Theater building. It is obvious that the development team's response to April's RFP was clearly superior to other submissions. This is likely the highest and best use scenario for this significant property. No other viable alternative seems realistic, considering the size and scope of the theater and other potential end users. There is no shortage of opinions and ideas in this city, especially when it comes to public projects like this. But it is my hope that we can all reach a consensus that this project is worthwhile and appropriate enough to proceed. With an unprecedented amount of private investment in the pipeline and nearly a dozen $20 million+ quality projects on the horizon, Troy's brightest days could be ahead of us very shortly. City Hall can be the icing on the cake, and we have a unique opportunity to show the rest of the world progress that we can all be proud of. Regards, Vic Christopher, President, Clark House Hospitality.
Thank you. That was emailed to you personally?
It was emailed to me. Yep.
Okay, well, I think we've had a lot of public comment on our agenda, and so we'll move forward with ordinances. Ordinance 36, ordinance authorizing the sale of a certain city-owned parcel of real property by the proposal sale application method. Council President Steele, Councilmember Casey, at the request of the administration. Is there a motion?
Motion.
Councilmember Brosnan, second.
Second.
Councilmember Vera. Discussion on the ordinance. Seeing none, all in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? The ordinance is adopted unanimously. Under resolutions, Resolution 85, resolution accepting a grant from the New York State Division of Criminal Justice Services under the STRIVE initiative and authorizing the mayor to enter into a contract and execute documents related to the grant on behalf of the city. Council President Steele, Councilmember Casey, at the request of the administration. Is there a motion?
Motion.
Councilmember Brosnan, second.
Second.
Councilmember Spade McLaren. Discussion. All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Resolution 85 is adopted unanimously. Resolution 86. Resolution accepting a grant from the New York State Division of Criminal Justice Services under the GIVE initiative and authorizing the mayor to enter into a contract and execute documents related to the grant on behalf of the city. Council President Steele, Councilmember Casey, at the request of the administration. Is there a motion?
Motion.
Councilmember Brosnan, second.
Second.
Councilmember Soriento. Discussion. All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Resolution 86 is adopted unanimously. Resolution 87, resolution authorizing the mayor to enter into a contract with Pavement Management Group to implement pavement condition data management services for the city of Troy by piggybacking on the City of Smithtown, New York, contract entitled PIN 24056 Pavement Management Solution. Councilmember Casey, at the request of the administration, is there a motion?
Motion.
Councilmember Brosnan, second.
Second.
Councilmember Vera. Discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Resolution 87 is adopted unanimously. Resolution 88, resolution approving the former Proctor's Theater building at 82 to 90 4th Street, Troy, New York, as a new site for Troy City Hall. Councilmember Casey, at the request of the administration. Is there a motion?
Motion.
Councilmember Soriento with a second by Councilmember Keel. Discussion? We'll have a slow roll. Councilmember Keel?
Aye. Yes.
Councilmember Brosnan?
Due to the fact this is just claiming our intent on moving somewhere, I'll vote aye. Waiting for the numbers for a real.
Councilmember Spain McLaren?
Due to a lot of the things that we heard tonight, we don't have the numbers that we asked for. We haven't seen a letter of intent. We asked for more time for this vote because there is still a public session on this. Due to a lot of questions that we asked that still have not been answered almost 2 months later. For those reasons, I no.
Councilmember Vera?
Yeah, I mean, I have a laundry list of concerns. Obviously, there's the financial aspect of this proposal, which we have limited details on. There's also the feasibility, as some other members of the public brought up this evening, on whether or not this is an adequate space to house City Hall operations. And because of those reasons, in addition to conflicts of interest that seem to exist on the LDC and the LDC's ability to take something like this on and get it financed, I vote no.
Councilmember Soriento?
So, I'm going to explain my vote only because I've been, before the council, I worked for the city of Troy full-time back in 2003. And I worked at the Monument Square building, beautiful building. I got married there. And then it was sad, but we had to move to then the Verizon building, and I worked there. And then we moved here, and I worked here until 2018. And it just doesn't feel, I'm sorry, it just does not feel like home. It doesn't. Not like how it was when we had our own city hall at One Monument Square. It was beautiful, except for the orange carpet. That was terrible. But anyways, that building was absolutely gorgeous, and that felt like home. And honestly, we really need our own home, desperately. We haven't had our home since, 2010? Maybe prior to that, I totally forgot, I'm getting old. But anyways, we need our home, and my vote is gonna be yes, and I think that this is going to be absolutely beautiful. And yes, there's gonna be some obstacles along the way. There's always obstacles. Every move that we did, going from one city hall to another, we ran into obstacles. We ran into obstacles when we moved in here. I remember those. Might be, minute, but I remember them. And I think that, yes, we are gonna run into obstacles. I mean, we'd be lying to you right now if we said we're not. But that's in every move. Things will play out. They will play out.
This is on our kids.
They will play out.
Folks, please let her finish.
And so I am gonna vote yes on this because I'm so excited to see our new home and hopefully our permanent home. Thank you.
Councilmember. Okay, you said you were going to vote.
I
Please
am
vote.
voting yes.
The power is in the tents. Thank you. Councilmember Casey.
I just have a couple of brief comments.
Okay.
I just want to say some concerns. People spoke about concerns about the LDC. And let me tell you, since I was appointed, or won this council seat, was on the LDC, I couldn't have been any more impressed with the people in that room. I mean, these people are just great businessmen and leaders in their community. They don't have all ties to this administration. One of the members, two I know have been on for quite a long time. One dates back to the Tungent administration. That's a long time. And I was so impressed with the way they operated. I doubt they would just sign on to something knowing it could risk the future and the reputation of Troy's LDC. I just never have found that to be the case. And I suggest that you either watch the meetings or go to see the professionalism of these people. I will like to discuss our present housing. I don't like other city leaders and people coming to just an office building. I'm sorry, I've never liked that. I've said that all along. We are faced with the ever-increasing rent. We have had problems with the extra fees involved, maintenance and different things, which we've had problems. We've objected, as did the previous administration, to some of those fees. In fact, I believe prior to this administration, payments were withheld because of that. So it's like timeshare where you can't control the maintenance fees. It seems like, to me, that they went up and up and up. And lately, making a decision to stay here after some of the outrageous, disparaging comments of the owner of this building, if I was in their position, this would be my last choice. When you have a bad landlord, you go somewhere else. I just want to say, this was a campaign promise a long time ago, two and a half years ago at least. We're in a year and 8 months into this administration, and the RFPs went out in April of 2024. Some people said this has been rushed. I don't see how that has been rushed in any way, shape, or form. There's been several public comments, and there's going to be the next one next week at Proctor's. And there's going to be more comment and input. And from what I've seen and been told, this administration is going to have open ears and an open mind to suggestions on this project going forward. Now, as far as the selection of Proctor's, I was impressed. It wasn't on my radar, quite frankly, but when you heard the reasoning, I thought, so in one fell swoop, we're getting a city hall and we're saving a historic building. And let me just talk to that as far as Proctor's is concerned. It meant a lot to all of us who grew up in Troy. My first concert was Tiny Tim singing Tiptoe to the Tulips. I went to movies there. We took the bus to the Proctor's. It was a very important part of our youth. But it sat empty all these years. I've toured it with the fire department, and I've toured it recently, as many of you have. And it's deteriorated. During those years, nobody has come to Troy with a grant, any ideas, any money, not a rich benefactor to redo this theater. I think at this point, it was City Hall, it is City Hall, or in the end, somewhere down the road, a wrecking ball. And I'd like to preserve it. Somebody did come along, or we did get a grant, wow, that's wonderful. So we redo the theater. Now we compete against Palace Theater in Albany, Proctor's in Schenectady, and Cahoe's Music Hall. All are nonprofits. All of them are not getting rich. They're helped along by members. I don't think, and this is probably the reason why it's never been done, I don't think it's financially viable for anybody. So I really, truly feel that this move gets us to City Hall and saves this beautiful historic building from the wrecking ball. And that's why, Council President Steele, I am voting yes tonight. Thank you.
Because it's unviable?
Cat calls.
I don't have a gavel, but please, I want to thank all the folks who spoke tonight. Your comments were spot on, very intelligent, very prepared. I share your sentiments. This legislation is premature, should not even be on the agenda if you go by the rules of our council and by our city code. Tonight's vote by the Republican majority on the mayor's City Hall relocation plan is a brazen attempt to ram through a vote over the questions and concerns of the council and the public. We have been stonewalled by the administration for months over requests for documents, financial information, and basic details. How can we be asked to approve a new City Hall site without any written lease agreement for a new location or a final budget for the total cost of this project? The LDC admitted they won't have a final budget until November 2025, and yet here we are tonight. There are also real serious questions about the legal implications of the mayor breaking our current lease. It's possible the city could end up paying for 2 leases simultaneously, and that cost will directly impact taxpayers. You know, it's been said in the papers by a present council member that this is about personalities. And I want to say on the record, it absolutely is not. This is about policy. It's about transparency. It's about needing facts before you make a decision. And rushing this approval through without any financial backup information, a confirmed budget, or even completing the scheduled public meetings demonstrate the mayor is singularly focused on making this vanity project a reality for her legacy over more important projects before our city. I vote no. Resolution 88 has been adopted 4-3. I would entertain a motion to adjourn.
Motion.
All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? We are adjourned. I can see
This is a responsibility for the child.
that was all a lie. That's always been a lie. It's all a big no. They claim it, and they always fail to deliver the policies that they support, do not deliver